WE looking to end playoffs strong with one of the shortest game ones we've ever seen. 21 minutes and 45 seconds. They took down JDG. An absolutely dominating performance from them. We're going to talk about that a little bit more, Raz, but that's going to come later. Because first, let's take a look. We've been talking a lot about playoffs. Let's see what the bracket actually looks like now and how much this fight affects it.
Look, I've just been wanting to see playoffs for some time. We have it in the LEC. We have it in the LCS. We got March Madness happening at the same time. I'm on Bracket Mania. So take a look at what's already been solidified. Sino Dragon's going up against EDG. That's going to happen no matter what. That's been solidified. Then they go up against TOP Invictus Gaming. That's a pretty hard road. But if we're just taking a look at the TBD, literally WE versus JDG, what's to be decided is where they're going to be going. 5th place, 8th place. Winner of this series gets side selection of their choosing in 3 games and where they can place it. So you can have it in, game 1, game 2, game 3, or you can have it on the back half. You don't need it in game 1 and game 2. Have it in game 3, 4, and 5. It's really up to you. So that's going to be real fun to be able to see what happens, because if they end up winning there, the next few opponents that you end up having, TOP and FPX, is going to be interesting as well. I think that's actually going to be the technically easier side of the bracket if we're looking at recency, with TOP having hardship alongside FPX. So that is what's interesting me.
Yep, we're going to have that best of 8, like we were saying, the best of 3 here. Then they're just going to go right back at it next time. The only thing at risk is that side selection. But let's take a look. We jumped away from Vici OMG, and as it turns out,
let's see what happened.
When we did, things got a little bit crazy, Raz.
I just want to see it. I want to see it with my eyes. What's going on here? Oh, it looks like a dive's going to happen.
Okay.
Oh, let's go.
Good route. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, God. Good Lord. ZDZ, that ultimate. What the hell?
I actually didn't even notice that Icon had picked up the Karthus. Remember in game 1 when we were watching it, they were hovering that pick as if it was going to be going to the jungle? Little did I know they had that as for Icon's pick. Trying to buff up the champions played this split. So I don't even want to look at the end game chart of like how many champions the mid laners played, because he's decided this week he's going to buff it up with the Vayne, the Riven, now the Karthus. He's literally just trying to brute force DoMB's record.
17 picks. That's the magic number that he's achieved. Now, that play also went into Baron. So I'm just saying, there was a lot that happened there. Yeah. There's a lot to unpack on that dive. Remember, if you want to catch that, huya.com/LPL or doyu.com/LPL. You can still see that series. But let's go back to our series at hand. The last game, xiye picked up the MVP on the Lissandra. Not surprising, after he gets a pentakill on it, he gets another MVP. His 3rd in a row for WE.
Well, this game he got a triple kill, so not as good as the pental that he had earlier on in the week. But it's nice to be able to see xiye, who's just outright performing. Like, give him what you can. The Lissandra pick doesn't matter, because Lissandra, Corki, like, just name the champions. Because, like, he's been stacking up MVPs recently on number 8 right now. So here we go. WE going into playoffs. Just cleaning up the competition here. They have both xiye and Mystic. We've been talking about those names going into the split, but it's actually beishang and Missing that are starting to finally round out this team perfectly.
Yeah, you were praising Missing a lot in the last game and saying that his play, especially along with beishang, like you mentioned, great synergy, great movement across the map, and it establishes a lot of vision for the team.
Yeah, I think Missing has been like an unsung hero in a lot of cases. He's been along with Team WE for some time, so unfortunately can't get that rookie of the split, but finally came out of nowhere. Perhaps like if you want to have like most improved player, he's someone you want to look towards a little bit more consistently. But even last split, I would never look towards him and say that he was a poor performer. I think he always came out strong. The problem was just synergistically trying to figure out how to work alongside his AD carry when the AD carries were changing between Imp, Gentle, and Mystic. They just stuck with Mystic, and then now we're seeing an added level of synergy alongside his jungler. But now we're looking towards different people on JDG's side.
Yeah, you saw Flawless on your screen there, but
there's
more
Bvoy.
Importantly, Bvoy, and then we're going to see someone we haven't seen before. It's not 10. It's not 10. It's 10. We'll probably just call him Teen for shorter.
Oh my goodness.
But that's 3 substitutes there for JD Gaming. In the bottom lane, the entire bot lane has been subbed out, plus the jungler.
So we want to see a complete, like, remember when we get into the series, and I showed you the guys the playoff brackets for a reason. They know exactly who they're going up against. So they know they're going to be going up against Team WE. With the fashion in which they showed in Game 1, really this is just like a learning point for JDG. So subbing out Lu Mao makes a lot of sense. I still expect to see Imp going into playoffs, but what we're going to just be able to see is if Bvoy is ready for, you know, his spotlight. If Bvoy can come into playoffs ready, if he has a great game here, I expect him to see him play. Here's Flawless coming in for Levi. We've been seeing Flawless more often than Levi, so I expect him to come in a Game 1 situation up against Team W in first round.
I really want to see how well Bvoy does, because the first time we saw him was on Young Miracles last split. That was the last time anyone saw him. So this is his first split in the LPL. He's a rookie. He hasn't gotten a lot of playtime, because when you're trying to split playtime between a former world champion and a brand new untested rookie, generally you're going to want to tend towards him.
I would love to see how he works alongside Teeen. Teeen has been playing for Joy Dream. So like what Joy Dream is the LDL team. He's been playing in the developmental league for quite some time. He actually racked up a pretty good performance. So champions that I'm looking forward to see him play is Thresh and Tahm Kench. His worst performing champion is Braum by far. He's played it 8 times. How many times he's won that one?
I don't know, Ryze. Is it bad?
He hasn't won a game. He's 0% on that win.
Oh, no.
He's 0-8.
Oh, no.
It's not good. Result-based analysis. But no, like in terms of just what he's most comfortable on, it's definitely Thresh Rakan. So I expect Zyra Rakan has been coming back into the meta. If I'm looking towards what Bvoy has showed me historically, Ezreal has been his go-to. So if that's the case, then Ezreal and Tahm Kench makes a lot of sense for them. But I believe Bvoy is a strong Xayah player. So he has a few champions in his pool that I actually really enjoy seeing him play. The Varus is number 1. We've been seeing Varus in the LCS. We saw FlyQuest pick up the win going up against, let me see. Oh, I set myself to fail, didn't I? My mind is up completely blank. Oh no! Oh, FlyQuest ended up winning the earlier series. I literally watched it this morning. But the fact they're able to pick up the win, hell no, it's first round. Don't even try and bait me with bad answers. Anyways, they ended up picking, and a lot of it was Wild Turtle off his Varus, and I really enjoyed that one up. So, good play overall there, and I think that his Varus actually, he consistently gets early lane advantages, not just because of the matchup, because I think he's really smart in how he actually plays the trades out with his supports. So I want to see how his synergy's actually been with Teeen here. He's had time to play with him in solo queue.
We're going to find out exactly how their synergy is going to work out, but they have a lot cut out for them, because of course we talked about them in the pre-game, and now we're getting into the
Golden Guardians. There we go.
Yeah, let's go.
My God.
See, I was thinking contracts, and my brain was just like, C9.
Yeah,
wait,
that's
no,
fair. That's
wrong.
Fair. That's fair. I actually thought Golden Guardians should have won Game 4, but I'm just going to throw this out of the way. But I mean, that's my
little bit of a hot take off the back of a hot game.
That's not a hot take. They literally were winning Game 4. But okay, fine. Anyways, back to this point. Whole point is literally just in the champion pool that Bvoy has for himself. Ezreal, Varus are, for me, his strongest champions, and Xayah is something that he's had when he was on Young Miracles.
Zyra Rakan, like you said, a potential, but that's going to be the Tahm Kench banned away, so that's one champion. But that's actually through JDG banning that one away, so taking that away from both Teeen and Missing.
Okay, we take those. Now, the one that's actually been left open is the Rek'Sai. Flawless is a pretty good Rek'Sai, so he could always go dipping into that one. Galio is still up and available, so available for both sides. Nice to see. There we go. Rek'Sai gets locked in.
Easy prediction there. That's the first pick coming in as the Rek'Sai. Incredibly strong jungler on this patch in the response. Looks like WE looking towards that top side of the map, looking to lock something in there. Would not be surprising to see something like the Jarvin. We've seen a lot of this recently.
Jarvin and Galio have been the safest picks to go through. When you have the Kalista, then it's fair to pick up Kalista because it actually just doesn't matter what your support option is. You always have that hard engage with your support, and the ability to, of course, go as aggressive as you can with your support because you can always save them level 6. Morgana being an interesting hover. I respect this hover. Morgana, I've always said, has been one of the strongest picks after the changes to both her and Kale. So final lock-in here. It's a great flex pick put in towards Missing, or you could have xiye end up picking it up for himself. And xiye has been playing some supportive mid lane picks. This Lulu, when we saw him at Asian Games, was nice. Of course, at that time he was with Uzi, but I was like, hey man, take that lesson and go back home. Like, Mystic is equally as good, and you could support that option. So there we go. Now we have a potential supportive mid laner for Missing.
Worst case scenario, we get a supportive support. So that's a nice pickup there for WE. And JDG's response is going to be this Ryze, so they've locked down at least one of their solo lanes plus the jungle so far.
And I cannot, like, tell you how hard it is as a Rek'Sai to be ganking that Morgana. Just off the fact that Black Shield does so much to negate that on the mid lane and the bottom side of the map. So the the ganks that you usually see from Rek'Sai, if he's not close enough, either going for a flash knock-up, not going to be available for Morgana. So I want to see what Team W ends up throwing her. But of course, alongside Jarvin, I already love the fact that there's a great mix between disengage and engage here from Team WE.
Looks like they're trending towards the mid lane pick there. They will pick up LeBlanc there for xiye. They've got LeBlanc and Morgana. You can't pick the counter into LeBlanc if we already picked it, says WE.
Team WE are just so focused on saying, yeah, we're just going to buff up Mystic. They ain't there's nothing hiding it. And if you start banning out AD carries, we've done that in the past, we have such a large pool for it. I think a safe ban would be the Vayne. If you have Rek'Sai and Jayce, something you are afraid of dealing with is going to be Vayne because of how well she can actually kite back. So that makes sense for me in a JDG perspective. They don't want to deal with.
WE, though, with the Soraka ban. What's that one all about?
I don't know.
All right.
That's literally all it is. Because
Fair
remember, like, the only thing I could say is that one of the major counter towards Morgana's support has been the Soraka. Soraka is more consistent in the damage she's able to trade off. If she ends up maxing her E as well, it's literally more damage. She can completely take away the black shield if a gank is going to happen there. So we're just talking about specific lane counters. That's what they've done with the Soraka.
We talked a little bit about the bottom lane champion pool here for JDG, and two of their bans start clinching towards it. Bvoy has played the Varus a lot and been successful on it, and Teeen with the Tahm Kench. Both of those are still taken away. JDG taking away both, which is a strange pickup.
Literally just trying to take away as many support counters into the Morgana as possible, and at the same time, I'm worried for Bvoy banning away these AD carries because it's going to be WE that gets their first hand, their first pick of the litter. So that's why they're not going to go too deep into it. And we'll get to see what Team WE comes out of the back end. I'm still saying it's going to be Vayne, so it's not going to be surprising when that gets picked up.
Final ban from JDG is going to be the Aurelia, but WE, unperturbed, will pick up the Yorick there for post in the top lane.
Now he gets pure counter pick. It's actually hilarious I've never seen this split. An AD carry counter pick coming in from Team WE, so we got to see what that's all about.
Bvoy hovering. Two of his best options at this point, the Ezreal and the Xayah. So
it just hurts. Like, if you go Xayah Rakan here, you just get, like, what can the Rakan do in the Morgana matchup? It's just disturbing. So going towards the Ezreal pick is just going for as safe as a lane as possible.
We'll see what they're going to pair it with, though, because if you had to go for safety, we already talked about how the Braum has not been a good option for Teeen. Oh, no. Okay. All right.
He's making jokes, man. Maybe he can improve the win rate, but let's see if he can improve the win rate. Can you improve it?
I think he's going to lock it in, Rez. Okay. All right. He was baiting us. He knows.
I mean, it's just how it is, man. Ezreal Alistar, great to get out of lane. I just want to see if Team WE can nail them down in the lane, because if Alistar ever goes for a headbutt pulverizer on any target, there we go. It's the Caitlyn, man.
That's going to be a hell yeah from me, Raz. Love seeing Caitlyn. Caitlyn Morgana as well. Such a strong bottom lane.
Remember, it was Mystic that brought Caitlyn back. In like 2017 Worlds, a lot of people didn't think that Caitlyn was going to be the pickup. But it was the Caitlyn counter pick that really nailed down a lot of problems that the teams had. They didn't think of her as a great team fighter, and that's maybe the case. But in terms of just focusing on the early game, Team WE did that. And so here we go. Morgana Caitlyn, how can you deal with this? If you cast your mind back to the later portions of 2018, it was actually the Caitlyn Morgana that was the answer to Xayah and Rakan. That was like, hey, maybe we can stop you from getting to your level 2, level 3 all-ins. And if that's the case, we just push you under tower, chip at turret plating. Now, of course, turret plating this meta, I ain't talking about last time around, but this time around, there's more gold involved in that incentive. So I love the fact that Team WE are making this like an experimental game going into their best of 5.
And especially when they play around Mystic and missing so much, they want to enable him to get to those later stages of the game. If you give him something that'll get himself gold in the early game, that's double plus good for them. Caitlyn now going to be picked up for that, but I have a question following that up.
All right.
So the Alistar is going to have trouble engaging into the Morgana. Ezreal going to maybe get some poking. Is this just where Rek'Sai has to go towards the bottom lane?
You can always look elsewhere. It just, you're always going to be at a time disadvantage, right? Because the whole purpose is to look for towers and look to rotate off that once you get bottom lane tower to go top lane. So if you can get an advantage decent enough for the top side of the map, knowing that the enemy jungler is going to be trying to hover over there for Mystic, then fine. Play towards a split strategy. But most of the time, the speed in which that can happen is not going to work out for you. So if you are like flawless in this situation, going towards Pose's lane is not going to help you out. It's actually difficult to be able to nail that advantage, and even if you get Zoom ahead, it's going to take some time before Ryze comes online. I think it's going to be Flawless going towards Yagao. Let's see if that works out for them.
Coming in now to game number two of JDG versus WE. WE could potentially pick up the 2-0.
And right now, overall, the fact that the ward was picked up by Yagao is nice. I mean, it literally means that he gets to go to level 2 much faster than xiye, so that advantage is always going to pay off for the strategy that Flawless has towards going towards that lane. So I like it. Big fan.
Oh, almost got that ward as well, but not able to get the auto off in time for Post. And that would have evened up a little bit of the XP across the solo lanes, but let's take a look at the runes as well. Both junglers starting on the red buff side.
Lethal tempo there coming in from Mystic, so not even concerned with the poke that Bvoy could potentially have. That's his strongest champion, but lethal tempo means that he's going to layer down the auto attacks. It actually pays off in the sense that the passive headshot procs there going to be faster to hit that if he's going into, I don't know, just hitting on either Bvoy or Teeen.
Already massive shove coming in there from Mystic, and beishang immediately going for that cross down to the bottom side scuttle and getting some vision for his bottom lane.
And that's not surprising to me. Like, that for me was going to be the game plan. Teleport on Mystic is actually something we have to pay attention to, because if there's ever a play towards the top side of the map like you saw in the earlier series where suddenly Mystic has to save that play, most of the time he's going to have this bottom lane pushed out. Oh no, headshot proc.
Goodbye. Half of Bvoy's health. He's now down to a quarter.
Yeah, I was layering down that potential disastrous situation where suddenly Mystic can like move missing top side and they can just look for the top lane tower instead. But we're going to be looking towards what was the game-ending fight here for Vici Gaming and OMG. So let's see who takes that. Wait, where did that teleport go, son? Where are we going to be seeing it? That's actually the longest con of a teleport. Oh no. Let's see you go.
Redemption comes in. Oh my god, the cannon again. But they take down Icon, but he's in his passive at this point. There's the ultimate dunk coming out. There's the triple. Make that the quadra. Wait, was that the penta? No. Okay.
You overreacting there, but it was
Look, but the quadra's cool.
Play. Like, the quadra is cool, and now is OMG taking the series. So that's real fun to be able to see on that end. So congratulations to OMG.
Yeah, Icon picking up the MVP off the back of that one. Now back to the game at hand. Already seeing the turret blading. Oh. Teen and a lot of peen.
This is literally the funnest strategy. Like, when Caitlyn started to fall off of the meta, it was because the combination of, like, Caitlyn and Alistar was no longer a thing. You couldn't go for the headbutt pulverizer and trap underneath them because, well, guess what? You couldn't. Alistar, suddenly you can get away from that a little bit earlier. Seeing the Morgana and Caitlyn work this easily, that's going to be really tough for Flawless to handle. Because I talked about how mid lane was a potential place for him to go, but bottom lane has just been so rough for Bvoy and Teeen.
I'm really liking the pathing from beishang here as well. He's not necessarily getting ganks off, but he's keeping vision clear from the enemy side, making them feel so unsafe.
Something that you just saw in the lane that's always fun to watch is the fact that Missing actually threw out his Dark Binding just above Bvoy's head. And it forced Bvoy to stay underneath the, what is it called? It's usually, just the W of Morgana. They changed the name of it. That's always, it's like Shadows something. Shadow Soil. Anyways, I'm just going to have to find out afterwards.
Tormented Shadows, I think.
Yeah, there we go. Makes me sad because I like
got
Tormented. So, anyways, it makes her stay underneath it and actually greatly reduces the cooldown of the pool. So, there we go. A good strategy to keep the pressure underneath them.
beishang trying to clear out the vision, but will get spotted out. Flawless is there to respond. Keep the control ward safe for the time being. xiye gets a nice trade there into the mid lane. Almost the second turret blading down here in favor of WE's bot lane.
And this is the type of experiment you want to see in the game when you could shut out JDG, you can pick up that, best of 3. Suddenly in the best of 5, you have choice in side selection. And this was a red side specific draft where WE were able to get the Caitlyn on last pick and Morgana in the first phase, where JDG now have to be aware of that going into that best of 5.
Maybe showing their cards a little bit too soon. They do have to fight a best of 5 after this, as you say. And now Mystic should be able to pick up the second turret plating on the push. Worth noting that not only do they have the turret plating advantage, they have the CS advantage. The bottom lane is going absolutely incredibly for WE.
Look, you say that it's going to be too soon. Well, that may be the case. People greatly underestimate the idea of just having that threat on red side. Suddenly, if you're thinking about it, Morgana is like a must take away from Team WE anymore. You're not going to ban the Caitlyn, but with how strong Morgana has been in the current meta as a mid laner and in support, and if Team WE are on red side and they're trying to flex this one consistently, then it's like, okay, we have to take out the Morgana, which means we lose a ban. And if you're going up against Team WE, maybe that's going to be beishang's Olaf.
xiye looking for the assassination on the Yagao, gets a lot of poke down, forces the flash and the cleanse even, with the pressure of Flawless right there.
He didn't want extra burst layering down. That's a lot of damage just off of electrocuting the ultimate.
beishang steals away the little raptors with the cheeky emote on the back of it. And now the Mountain Drake is a possible point of contention here. They're going to look to rotate around that. Missing in beishang. Best buddies once again, Raz.
Team WE, man, they ain't even going to be focusing on the dragon for some time. Like, their lanes are doing so well. Keep them in that bubble, right? Like, xiye's already doing well just flexing in the lane matchup, and there's no flash there from Yagao. Like, suddenly he can continue to make those plays happen as he's basing and go back to lane. And then Mystic has already taken this many turret platings off.
Double turret plating's taken down. He's got a BF sword in his inventory as well. Teleported back to the lane to get even more of a push, denying so much away from JDG. The question is, Raz, what is JDG going to do to recover this lead at this point?
I mean, it's always going to be like, look at Flawless first. Flawless and Alistar, like, both of them need to be able to make a play either in the bottom side of the map with Caitlyn and Morgana pushing up so consistently. Like, Dark Shield works only so well for that one person that she's layering it on. So as long as you can recognize that one of those knockups are going to be hitting from either like Teeen or Flawless, then that's nice. Like, that's the strategy should be looking for here.
Mystic, a little bit of an engage there, has the lethal tempo popped, but not a whole lot of pressure coming in. JDG have hit level 6 on the support at the very least, but Mystic has hit it as well, has the ace in the hole available. It's a lot of laning pressure going down.
And that's literally 3 of those Tormented Shadows coming through in the span of which we were watching it. The cooldown seemingly doesn't exist whenever you're just able to place it on top of a champion or on top of a cannon minion. So, like, we're going to have to see how that goes later on. xiye is under threat.
xiye has to flash away. Chain still, though. That was massive, and Flawless forced to flash as well.
Oh, no.
So Post is here, flag and drag as well. Goodbye to the jungler of JDG, and hello to First Blood for Post.
Post rotating for the top lane the moment he got to push. Big cash off that one, right? Like, getting the kill on a Rek'Sai is just rare. Because if he doesn't have flash, he's going to be able to tunnel out. But he used both of those. One to get into the play, and one to get the hell away from the LeBlanc. So, great job from Post to be able to make it happen.
Here's the engage, the knockup you were talking about. Black Shield goes out after the play, and Mystic has to flash away. The flash from Bvoy has already been used to engage. The trap will force out Teeen to walk away, and Mystic makes it out alive, but without a summoner.
Great job from Teeen. Remember, this is his debut performance on the LPL stage, so realizing that he can't just sit there and bleed all game long, they need to make it happen.
But Mystic will survive the gank regardless. Still has the 10 CS up and is healed up to almost half health. If you look on the upper side, beishang hovering around the area, but as is Flawless. Flawless will not see him with the tremor sense at the moment, but WE know he's there.
Here we go.
beishang coming in, flag and drag not going to land, ace in the hole, Cataclysm. They won't find the kill, but they will find his flash.
Yeah, honestly, Bvoy and Flawless not being able to protect Teeen off that ultimate means that he has to back. There's literally nothing he can do about that. Can't stay in the lane a little longer with that Targons. And by the way, like, the nerf that we're going to be seeing off that is huge. For supports to not be able to heal that much within the lane, it's going to be something we're watching. And like, certainly why we're seeing a lot more mage supports in the meta. Like the Karma that we saw from RNG. Now, RNG is usually the team that's an anomaly. They do it outside of the meta anyways. There's the Alistar, Braum, and Thresh. They'll be the team as we get closer towards playoffs that focuses so much towards like the laning phase for Uzi that they say, okay, you pick up the best tank support. Well, guess what? That's just not the best laning support. So, I like the fact that now we're starting to see more across the board.
Missing, picking up the Morgana. xiye, this might be the first gank he's on the wrong side of as the Lumao roam rather comes up. And this is what we were talking about last game, what we'd like to see more from the JDG support, but this time it's Teeen. They just subbed out a player instead of having him roam up more.
Yeah, he literally just flashed over, he literally used the Hex Splash over the wall to make the play happen. That's creativity. Trying to get the ball rolling. So already making a great first impression for me. Such a great impression that we, thought it was Lumao was walking over there. Like, you know what? You're doing a good job if that's the case.
I was like, it's a good engager. It's gotta be Lumao, right? Nope.
Yeah.
Teeen coming in, but this time Mountain Drake looking to go over to WE, and this works so well into their composition, especially the strategy they want to run with Mystic. He's gonna be able to chunk down those towers with ease. But the top lane struggling a little bit here for WE, post having to teleport in, getting shoved in repeatedly by Zoom.
That's fine. He did it for the team. Remember the early roam while he got the kill for it, gave time for Zoom to be able to farm up and push right back into him. So as time moves on, you're already seeing Lost Chapter, tier there for Zoom. He's going to be able to push up the wave, and there's not much post can do about that.
Looking back into the bottom lane, this is where we got to keep our focus because it's all on Mystic in this early game. He's gotten a lot forward at the moment. He's got the BF sword, Berserker's Greaves, working towards his Zeal item as well. And he has so much pressure in this lane. So maybe if Teeen finds another miracle engage, they'll have pressure.
Yeah, perhaps, right? Look at where Missing is placing himself, though. It's literally so far back. The only option Teeen has there with the lack of flash that he has available is Mystic. So look, that's just the easiest black shield of your life. So not much Teeen can do about it. So he's just going to have to hope that Bvoy doesn't get caught with the Dark Binding, and he was that close to being, now it's him. Now it's he's getting caught by it.
Goodbye to half of Teen's health. Mystic now with the additional attack speed, just going to fire away at the tower. Good lord, that's half a turret plating already.
He's going to have another Tormented Shadow after that one.
This bot lane is just absolutely brutal coming out from WE. There will be some wave clear finally coming out from Bvoy, but that's about all he can do in that end. Flawless looking for the invade onto the red buff, but beishang is here looking to secure it. He might give it up without the help of his mid laner.
Yeah, Jayce is sitting around here, so it's going to be a smite steal. Well, that's happening.
Oh, great Black Shield keeps Mystic alive. Ignite is ticking onto him, but free firing away as Mystic. Teeen still survives. Unbreakable Will keeping him healthy.
Yeah, Mystic didn't want to overcommit there. Missing knew that he was going to be able to get like both of them within his own ultimate with the extra movement speed he got there, but Mystic was like, all right, I'm actually just blinking red right now. I can't look to take that. I can still stay in the lane. So a smarter decision between Mystic and Missing is to recognize that Alistar has to go back to base and continue the pressure bottom lane.
We're looking at the top side, and that might be the first proactive play JDG are
able
to get, but instead, xiye is coming down to the bottom lane, forces the flash, and uses one of his own to take down Bvoy.
He delayed it. He literally waited until Bvoy had to flash himself. He was like, you're either going to be sitting there, and you're going to die anyways. I'm just going to like literally walk up to you and make it happen. But Bvoy thought he had a shot out there like some prison break. But no, dogs are faster. xiye literally being able to get the flash and the kill on top of it.
WE with that going to have 3K gold lead, but JDG were able to pick up the Rift Herald in the back of it. Worth noting as well, Mystic still has his teleport, has that Infinity Edge now, so if they really want to defend this top lane, could send him up there, but with the tower being so low, the Rift Herald will one-shot it.
Yeah, at this point, they're not too concerned about that Rift Herald. Look towards where the Caitlyn is moving right now. I think eventually they'll look towards that top lane tower, but they'll get mid lane pressure first, see what they can do there, if it's going to be contested at all, and then they'll look to get posts who will push up this wave and then look to hold out bottom lane. Right now, all they need to see is where Bvoy is going. Bvoy has to pick up that one wave, and he committed towards taking up the second wave at the bottom lane. Then they lose this mid lane tower. So right now, Team WE are recognizing where the enemy AD carry is going, and they're pressuring based off that.
Half health now on the mid lane turret. They need to keep WE off of this if they want a chance of keeping the pressure up, but lethal tempo procs again, and there's a ton of damage onto the tower from Mystic.
On the tower, on Bvoy.
Okay, onto him. Bvoy looking for the kill now. Realm Warp from Zoom, not going to be able to do much, but it does put pressure onto the side of WE with a half health AD carry.
All right, man. This is actually just going to be a tower that JDG pick up out of nowhere.
Oh, the Airy! Okay. Airy gets the shutdown from downtown from Yagao. Now he will get the gold for Mystic, who had a 30 CS lead, but now he's missing his mid lane tower.
Yagao is sick. All right, that's all I care about. Legitimately, that was a great set play from Team WE, and Yagao blows it all away.
But here comes the Kata from beishang. He wants revenge, as does xiye, but xiye taking a ton of damage. Bvoy finally taken down. Unbreakable will pop by Teeen, and Flawless coming in, gets the knockup. Yagao here on the flank again. Can he make the magic happen twice? It doesn't look like it. The double kill comes out from xiye. Yagao still chasing out into beishang, and Teeen trying to run away on the back of it. So give Yagao time to take out beishang, but they'll lose their support as well. Yagao now looking for missing, might be able to find it. He's doing a ton of damage. Just one more auto, won't find it. The quadra kill for xiye. What is happening?
I'm just saying that right now, Yagao is the saddest man on the damn planet, right? Just being able to take away Mystic, his right to live, push him out from the beginning, gets the kill, and then guess what ends up happening? Bvoy and Teeen gets caught out in the mid lane, and it was xiye who was running him down. So it just seems like there's just a lot of caretaking coming in the side of JDG. They always have to clean up from their own mistakes, and it doesn't come out as a victory, because take a look at this. They're pushing up the mid lane. At the same time as Jarvin was looking at the pick, look to the right, you see LeBlanc coming in as well. Easiest kill you could look for on Bvoy.
Find that one, look for the support as well, but then Flawless comes in with some support of his own, gets the double knockup and forces WE back.
And then take a look at this, because Yagao just recognizes that he's already like this close to being able to get the kill on beishang. He's going to commit to it. And like while that worked out for him, suddenly he's surrounded. He would have been dark binded, so he makes the better decision of just going all in on towards missing. Maybe he gets the second kill. So he made the best out of what he had. It's just unfortunate that xiye and beishang had made such a great play to begin with. Now xiye is loaded, has 10 stacks and his newly built up Jayce.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's about what Yagao did with what he had, but it's important to look at what xiye has now. He's got the Ludens, the 10 stack Jayce. Scary once again, 2 games in a row, he's able to pick up that Jayce and stack it up. And this time, he's got a lot of backing for him in the early game. And another engage. The Kata comes in from beishang. They're trying to find xiye, but won't just yet. Missing goes in with the ultimate, goes golden, catches 2 with it. Mystic free firing on the back will be able to pick up 1. But will he be able to find Flawless? They will. Xiye picks it up as well. Bvoy chased away, and Mystic will live through the fight, live to push down this tower.
They literally did anything they could to get the kill on the xiye and reset the Jayce stack. But just impossible there. Flawless even trying to get the last heat seeker on towards him. But no, didn't happen. Now they found the next target.
xiye, beishang, and Post all here. Forces the flash quite handily there. Yagao is here to help zoom out a little bit, but this is so much push pressure coming in from WE.
This is relentless pressure, because immediately they're going to segue this towards the mid lane, because they recognize they have a Caitlyn in this composition for a reason. Why not look towards that mid lane that started it all off?
And this is what happened last game as well. Oh, good lord. Ace in the hole, not going to be able to find it as well. beishang needs to get out of here. Stun not going to land. The engage comes in from WE, and xiye cannot be stopped this game. Another double kill for him as Flawless desperately tries to run away, but Post flash shovels him into the ground, buried and dead. And now Zoom, the last man standing for the team. They're going to chase him down, cage him up. xiye gets another kill, 25 stacks on Jayce, 9-0-3. He's doing it again, Raz.
And the government has a hit on him. 1,000 gold bounty on his head. And I don't think anyone can touch him. At this point, before he even takes a look at him, he's dead. As it all starts off, the Cataclysm on towards Yagao. I think that's the most important part. xiye, they recognize they need to get the kill. He's already fairly low and he's pretty squishy. So just take a look at Flawless. Look at how close he was to being able to get the kill. Gets the ult down. He moves past the wall. Even uses Praise Seeker, seeing if he can get it. Of course, just comes right back, and he gets the kill on top of it to just increase his stacks.
This is just like last game as well. A slower early game from WE, and suddenly they explode forward with massive leads off the back of xiye and Mystic. And now, I'm going to agree with the Colonel. For once in my life, 81.4%, that sounds pretty solid, but honestly, it might even be higher with xiye being as big as he is.
It just comes down to the skill level that we're seeing here. xiye is on the map so consistently, and I say that as in, it's not like Yagao is playing poorly. He's playing well for what he has, But with how Team WE are just consistently, whenever they're on their map, they're making a play towards bottom lane on Zoom. They go back, but they're already making a fight up here.
Kata again onto Teen. Unbreakable Will not going to save you that much. Xiye gets his 10th kill of the game.
They just don't give JDG time to push and roam. Zoom was trying to get the push in the top lane. At the same time, they were trying to get vision and literally get picked apart by Team WE. So xiye is able to pick up so many kills, assists, all of that, because there is no wasted time there. They're always moving towards the next goal.
Now Mystic with the red buff, with the 2 items, has the rapid fire cannon in tow, but xiye,
no.
This is dangerous. He's got the Oblivion Org Sork Boot,
Oh
so
my
much
God,
damage.
please.
He founds it blind, and there goes Yagao. He's shut down once again. 11-0 and 3 now for xiye.
It was a coin flip, but at the same time, both sides were ahead. Because even if he missed, guess what? That chain went down low, which means that if you want to dodge it, you're going up farther away from your tower. I'm committing to the fight anyway, and Team WE, like the rest of my team's going to join up, so you're going to die no matter what. It's just that you're just trying to dodge the chain.
Oh my God, that damage onto Teen, forcing the flash as the flag and drag of beishang's there to threaten. And now, that is another tower.
Where are we
for
going
WE.
now?
Oh my God, xiye.
How many kills did we get in this man?
Well, I mean, he's 12-0-3 so far. He's looking for more. He wants that MVP number 4 in a row.
I think we can give it to a mid-game. I think
I'd agree with that.
that's where I'm at right now. Just throw up the graphic, why don't we?
This may not even be mid-game. This may be the end of the game at this point. They're able to take down the inhibitor tower. Xiye still healthy as can be.
I mean, look, what's going to give me that hope for JDG is literally the Ryze and the Jayce. Like, Jayce, if you cast your mind back, it seems so long ago when he was able to stop the pressure on towards the mid lane outer turret by getting the initial poke on towards Mystic, and then he gets the kill off that. Sometimes it just happens like that. When you have that much lethality in you, and Yagao is still playing on point, that you can really push time back for Team WE. So that's what I'm looking for. I think Yagao is literally the only member at this point in time where I could say that that can mean something. Bvoy has poke right now, but my professional opinion, not enough.
He doesn't have the second tier item completed or even stacking. So doesn't have a whole lot of damage whatsoever, Raz, like you said. Finally, first item stacked, but Zoom trying to get out with the Realm Orb is able to find his way out for now, but xiye is on the chase as his posts. That is a speedy LeBlanc, not going to be able to find it with just the sigil.
You think I was running away? Yeah, I guess he was just not. He's not going to be able to catch up to him, but he's still threatening.
Oh, there's the engage from Yagao. They're looking for Mystic. If they can find this, it's a good slowdown. Flawless looks for the ultimate once again. Mystic somehow survives, and now WE get the better end of the fight. Bvoy taken out by an ace in the hole. Now Yagao is the next target, is missing, and beishang try to take him out. Zoom teleports in to save his mid laner. The Dumpling Brothers, the duo carries, able to take down missing. beishang low. xiye is as well, but he's able to threaten with so much damage. I don't think JDG's chances are good. And Mystic is back in the fight. Headshot, and they've gotten the ace just like that. WE run down JD Gaming.
Yeah, I think they can take this game. Like, spoiler alert, Mystic has full HP, having to teleport right back into it, and the minions are already doing the work for them.
It's going to be the first Nexus Tower. WE have had an incredible latter half of the split since 9.4 came in. They've been looking absolutely fantastic, and this time they secure 5th place in the regular season playoffs of Spring LPL. Give it up for WE.
This is the best we've seen Team WE since their run at Worlds, since losing Condi, and of course the whole issues that they had last year plaguing them. And all I said was give this team time. All they needed was that. In fact, I don't even think they recognized that when they were pushing Mystic out, checking on if if Imp worked for the team, if Gentle worked for the team, starting to see like if Pepper versus Condi, like just really give them time. You needed to reform the synergy in your team. That happened. Wei Xiao had time with them, and suddenly they're back on track.
Post as well. I mean, we talk about xiye, we talk about Mystic, we talked about missing. We basically talked about everyone but Post, but I'm so impressed by him coming into the LPL, able to hold his own against so many teams. Yes, he's not going to make you the highlight plays, but he has been very consistent in the latter half of the split.
Yeah, we could sing the praises of every member, and I think the most important thing is to be able to tell people literally why they're performing so well. And while Post has always been mechanically strong, he's always been disconnected from the map. And the fact that we're starting to see beishang give that focus, laser focus. Game 1 was literally the ludicrous level of focus when it's like we're going on to Rift Herald no matter what, and we're making it so Missing's coming with me. Like, if you guys try and challenge us, we take the team fight. If you don't, we get Rift Herald, we push up topside. You're going to have to do something or else you're losing gold. So overall, I think beishang coming right back into the team gave them laser vision focus. And Missing, who's of course coming to the side, not only has been able to have the strong bottom lane focus that he's always had. Like, bottom lane's been great for Mystic. That's never been the question for Missing. But Missing now being able to work alongside his jungler, it's been what they've needed for so long. Losing Condi, now when Condi was playing, when he came back after all his everything was working out, they still had issues. So they went with Pepper. Pepper still wasn't good enough. Like, they couldn't work it out there. Remember before that, they had Melon there too, the Gragas one trick. Literally trying to see what fit with the team, because even though they now have Magic, for them, it was still not good enough because he was still really just trying to tag along with the play. If you are a losing team without really any play in mind, your goal should be able to like steer focus in the early portions of the game rather than saying, okay, I'm going to be looking towards the veteran players to see what they want. Like, for him, it was Magic trying to say like, hey, if I can get xiye out of the lane, then it works well for us. And that's true, but then if you're just misplaying the 2v2s or at times drafting, so you're going late and the 2v2s are not your focus, then like what's your next plan? I think beishang has literally gave them that, so I love the fact that now Team WE going into the playoffs, 5th place. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's an incredible turnaround, especially since 9.4. Basically, 9.4 was just like, okay, beishang's here. Mystic can carry. 80 carries have been strengthened up, especially with the crit. And then suddenly WE just start rolling through. But these last 2 series, I think, have been stronger than WE's previous performances because we've seen a lot of carries come out of xiye as well.
Yep.
I think it's just a really well-oiled machine at the moment. And you look at those game times especially.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because a lot of people would say that it works well because the meta has favored them. And while that is definitely true, it's like, hey, you know what? The wind is blowing in that direction. That's why it's kind of going a little bit further. But the issue is that, or at least the reason for their success has actually just been the fact that, you're right, beishang is starting to really work well with the squad. That it's not necessarily needing to go that late into the game, or Mystic doesn't have to always play those crit. He's still playing Vayne like he did in the early weeks. It's the play starting to be a lot more disciplined. Them recognizing that there is like a vision towards how to play mid and early games. Good job for them. I think in the playoffs they've already showcased that it's JDG that has to worry about them. And going into the I'm already thinking about the next stage, right? I'm already thinking about quarterfinals, but we still don't know if JDG have learned enough off this series. So I would love to see what JDG can pick off them, because they now can pick up, hey, you know what? WE wants Rek'Sai. WE wants to roll this composition, and you have to probably start banning the Morgana now that it's working so well for Missing. There's a lot that you could pick up here, but I don't know if they have enough time.
And that's the thing that I'm concerned about as well, because WE, they didn't show a whole lot of their hand here. They showed the Morgana Caitlyn strategy, but that's just one thing. That's a threat, like you said. Suddenly that Morgana is a lot higher in the ban priority list or the takeaway priority. So now with WE having closing out games 2 in a row, 21 minutes, 45 seconds. The second one was 24 minutes and 10 seconds. Those are ridiculously fast games. I don't feel like we got to see WE's weaknesses exposed at all here in this series.
Yeah, I think what they've showcased us is that they're willing to throw the gauntlet down in like 10 minutes into the game around Rift Trails, Dragons, or like, of course, if the bottom lane turrets is going to be that much of a laser focus, then yeah, you have to be able to play and fight early. JDG versus Team WE will end in the early game. Like, that's just going to happen in our best of 5. Because JDG learned that they can't try and scale up with the Ezreal or try and like lose too much. Technically, in the last game, we saw Rek'Sai, Jayce. That's a composition that's supposed to be flying earlier on. It's just more so that they didn't give their bottom lane a big opening for success. And that's where now we have to throw our eyes to, because like Imp or Bvoy, or no matter what they throw in there, since they've lost Loken, that bottom lane has been in hole. And Lu Mao needs to find a way to play around that, learn from what Missing has been doing, and go outside of the lane and try to over-rotate to help out Yagao. I think that's what the future playoff matchup will look like.
Well, you speak about Luma a little bit there. Do you think it's possible that they keep running Teeen? Because, yes, it was his first game in the LPL, and that's really scary to give him.
That's a no from me.
Yeah. Look, it's his first game, but he looked pretty strong, I thought.
Yeah, but that's a no from me. Like, remember Rogue Warriors thought that Holder was strong enough, and then he came into a playoff game, and he looked awful. You can't gauge, like, the level of nervousness a player is going to be coming in. So don't throw them in at the deep end at a playoff time. They're not willing to throw their commander-in-chief, Mr. Lumao, under the – like, that would be the most boneheaded decision. I'm going to lay it out right there. Teeen had a great experience on the map. He's going to take it back with him. Maybe in the summer split we'll have a conversation about him again.
Yeah, team probably not going to see till later in the year then. So with that, let's look at the composition, or the team rather, that JDG have fielded the most, and they did not actually run in its entirety this game.
Okay.
We have Zoom in the top lane, Flawless in the jungle, mid lane Yagao, AD carry Imp, and support Lumao.
Yeah.
How is that, do you think, going to differ in performance? In what key areas that you saw flaws in JDG's play is that going to shore up, and what other issues will it still leave behind?
That's a great question, because a lot of people will look at this series and say WE stumped JDG. That's what we're going to see in the best of 5, and I don't think that's the case, because you're right, we hadn't seen the real lineup working alongside each other. And I would say look at game 1 and then like replace the Evelynn, put in Flawless, who has a lot more synergy with the team. Put it with like a Lee Sin or something that has that early game pressure. That's what you'll get. And we'll see crisper team fights. We'll see like much more defined early game advantages from Zoom, Flawless, and a little bit of Yagao, but he's been playing more of a supportive role. I don't think it is enough with how much the WE has been accelerating the bottom lane. So it is going to be a race, literally an arms race between Zoom and Mystic. It's going to happen. And I think that we've seen historically that AD carries being able to roll with that advantage always wins, because if you're Team WE, just work with the dual lane and try and increase the time. Maybe Zoom is going to have the champion and be able to rotate and help the team in team fights, but that's always going to be an if. And it comes down to execution. I think Team WE has just been too crisp in their execution.
Well, we saw little flashes of brilliance from JDG.
Yeah,
I think, you know, those mid lane plays around Yagao, he did pretty well. He even sniped out Mystic at one point.
That was good.
Absolutely insane. Even, it was just the area that did it, which was just a little bit more BM, seeing the little tiny blue cat be the one to kill the big AD carry Mystic. So they've shown some promise, but you don't think that it's enough. What can they do to bridge that gap before playoffs comes? Because they don't have a lot of time. April 4th is when it starts, so they have a little bit under a week.
Yeah, and I think like under a week is good enough. Remember I just said from Lumao, that was my biggest thing, is that Lumao should just be watching, seeing what missing does, because like that is the key to a lot of WE success, is that if they have the numbers advantage topside, it's because missing has roamed there. So if it comes down to placing one ward just outside the, if they end up picking red side, that is, one ward just over the dragon pit so they can see missing move from mid lane to top lane, that's great vision. That's possibly something we could look for. Or just knowing when the wave's been pushing enough for him to help, because that's, to me, that's it. They're going to look for those fights. They just need to be able to execute in an even footing.
So they're going to look for a little bit more of that support synergy going in there. So let's pivot a little bit back to the other side, back to WE, because they did absolutely amazingly, incredibly short games. But the question is, you are a coach, you know this. If you have a team that's doing that absolutely incredibly well in those games, where do you find your improvement? Where do you look for problem areas when your last game was that incredibly crisp?
I mean, all you got to do is ask the players, because they'll certainly come out of that game and tell you. They're not the type of people to be coming out and say, hey guys, we played perfectly. Good job. Like a lot of it will come onto players like xiye, who picks up MVP. They'll be able to tell you that. Like, I think xiye, who had a wonderful performance, will tell you that the skirmishes around the mid lane were a little bit too messy. That we need to focus on the Rek'Sai, who was just coming in a little bit too much. Or more importantly, Mystic, that said I needed a little bit more front line there when I was going for the tower. How am I getting hit by that shockwave? So like, I mean the shock blast. So there are informations that you'll get from it. I will say the biggest takeaway here for the individuals of Mystic and xiye coming out strong. This is what I was talking about. Look at xiye here. He gets hit up, but he's like, okay, I can take that damage. I'm living. I'm just going to be able to dodge this. Yeah, and get that kill. Literally microscopic W to be able to get the kill right there. Oh, and we're in the helicopter camera too. Guess what? Heads or tails, doesn't matter. I still hit you. And on top of that, of course, the rest of the Team W are there. So it doesn't matter where you end up dodging, they get the kill. So really well played from xiye. I think the communication, if we were to hear it, like or understand it, I guess we don't understand it, wouldn't matter anyways. It's strong enough where xiye and Mystic's voices being heard, that they can make a call that this is an easy kill on towards like Jayce, who's going to be looking to catch the wave. He didn't, but he still put himself out, his neck out there, too far out his turret. Those are things that we need to see a little bit more from JDG, because Yagao has a lot of good ideas, and he's in this series. I think he still played well. It's just that he was playing too much catch up for the rest of the map.
Yep. WE had an absolutely dominating performance there. So let's take a look. Once again, we've discussed this is going to be the best of 8. Let's see those playoff brackets, or the standings rather, and then just take a look at how everything hangs, because Team WE just secured themselves the 5th spot. Remember, that was the last game of the regular split, so this is your final bracket going into playoffs.
Yeah, no, this is literally just the final standing, so if you're just looking at this, this is where everyone shook out. So FPX coming out as #1, that's always fun. JDG, everyone, I had expected them to be like 4th or 5th place, but at the end of it, they literally come in at 8th place, just squeaking in. But the biggest surprise for me at the end of the split is Suning and BLG. Suning, I thought, were going to be a team built, by far a super team to be able to make it into the playoffs and then try and gain a championship. So far away from that. Literally just the biggest disaster I've seen in the LPL. I have never seen something as bad as that. We've talked about how hard it has been for EDG to get like that close to Worlds, but they've never missed a ticket. They've still got tickets to Worlds. And then maybe you can talk about Team WE. I think it was in like 2016, 2017 when IMA took them down in the 3rd place matchup. You'd say, wow, that's such a heartbreak because Team WE had them for the whole game. And we're by far the favorites to be able to take that series. So like you can weigh your options there. But Suning losing in that hard of a fashion is still my takeaway. I'm heartbroken for Kuro because I think Kuro, ADD, Meteor, all of them exceptional players, but there's too much competition in the league.
Especially in their last series, they demonstrated a lot of skill. And unfortunately, they did still get knocked out, but they did it in such spectacular fashion. And now, since they did get knocked out, we do have the final standings there for the bracket. Playoffs, 5th versus 8th. We're going to see WE versus JDG again.
So let's take a look at the road, right? If you're Team WE and you take that win, theoretically, go up against RNG, FPX, and then you get that grand finals. And if we're talking about the easier side of the bracket, I think they're pretty evened out. You don't want to go up against RNG. You don't want to go up against Xiaohu and Uzi. But actually, if you're just talking about the top lane situation, if you're Team WE, you're like, okay, we're going up against RNG and FPX. That is easier for me. I would much rather do that route than TOP, deal with 369 and Knight, and having to deal with Rookie and the Shy who's going to be coming out for all of those games. If Invictus Gaming had played the Shy all the time, they would have won out that FPX series. They would have been 1st place. I'm just saying would, coulda, shoulda, but I'm saying it's much better for Team WE and JDG that they're on this side of the bracket.
They're going to be happy with that one. Of course, they will start off their playoffs run facing each other. Those are going to begin on April 4th. So that's when we're going to see all the playoffs shake out, start knocking teams out like flies. So everyone's looking for that playoffs victory.
And this is the road to MSI. That's what it all is about. It's not about 1st place, 2nd place. You need 1st place. There's nothing like you can talk about, hey, you know, I've got circuit points and everything going into Worlds, but a lot of these players are just talking about wanting to get that international competition under their belt. Like you want to be able to go up against a possible Griffin, a Team Liquid. So many teams across the globe that are so favored, G2 even, right? Like these are names you want to be able to go up against. And if you're Mystic and xiye who've been going to rest every night saying, I'm doing everything I possibly can to get to that kind of a series, find myself once again being able to hold up that goal if you're xiye a gold medal. And then, of course, in 2017, you got yourself that cup to be able to go to Worlds as 1st place victors. Like, there's so much that happened there that I wonder how it'll shake out. Because Team W already talked about, like, they can realistically get past RNG. And going up against FPX, we've had a lot of naysayers. I'm one of the naysayers for FPX in a lot of these, and best of 5s is when they get tested. Realistically, Team WE can make that run.
Team WE, they might be able to make the miracle run, but we're going to find all that out when playoffs begin. Thank you so much for coming out. This was the very last match of the regular season, but don't worry, we'll be back watching the playoffs run begin, the run to MSI on April 4th.